Welcome to Azzadous Studios. Today we're going to take a look at the biggest thing to improve the quality of my productions, gain staging. Gain staging is a process you should be doing throughout your track to keep the volumes of your instruments consistent and keep them from clipping. So let's have a look into Ableton and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here I've got a track that I've been working on. I've muted the vocal just for copyright reasons, just in case I don't want to get flagged up. So gain staging. So I'm just going to open up this silent one where I've got my lead here. I'm just going to solo it. And you can see we're hitting about -3 dB. We're not clipping, it's not too bad. But ideally, we want that to be hitting around -10 to -18 dB. It don't really matter too much, but as long as you've got plenty of headroom to play with, because all of these sounds are going to sum up together into the master channel. And you don't want your master channel clipping either. So what I'm going to do with this is simple enough. I'm just going to bring the main volume down. Okay, so there we're touching about -9, -12, and this is giving us a lot more headroom to play with. If I push it all the way to the top, you can see we're now clipping. Most of the time, your VST or whatever is going to have a dB meter. You're going to be able to tell when you're clipping because it's going to be flashing up red at the top of the meter. So bring that back down. And that's basically what gain staging is. Make sure you do this on every channel, on all your VSTs, samples. Another thing you need to be doing when gain staging is make sure you're gain staging throughout your chain as well. So it's all right, we've got silent hitting about -9 dB there, but then we've got a compressor after it. So let's switch the compressor off and back on. It's not actually making much difference. I think that's because I've just turned it right down. So I'm going to bring the input up on the compressor. Right. So now, when I switch the compressor off and back on, we're getting quite a big volume increase, which we don't want. So I'm going to stick a VU meter on there and we're going to check it out. I'm going to switch the compressor off. And you can see we're touching about -10. And with the compressor on, way up there, right? So what we want to do is bring that volume down. So what I'm going to do with the compressor is just bring that up here. And I'm going to bring the output down and keep an eye on the VU meter. Okay, so it's hovering around the same volume now. The benefit of this is being able to tell what your effect is actually doing. Especially with a compressor or an EQ, sometimes it can be really hard to hear the difference between effect on and effect off. Especially if the volume is increasing quite a lot. All we hear is a volume increase, we don't hear what the effect is doing. So with proper gain staging, we can hear what the compressor is doing. And it's just adding a light bit of compression. Okay, so what I'm going to do after that is stick a Pro Q2 on, and I'm going to move the VU meter to after the Pro Q2. Now when I start sculpting this, you're going to see an increase in the volume. I wouldn't usually EQ this extreme, but for this demonstration, it's a perfect example. So you can see the dB meter is coming right up. Most VSTs, or some VSTs, are going to have a setting on there which will auto gain stage for you. So if you look in the output settings of Pro Q2, it's got a little A there. If you click the A, it's going to auto gain stage it. So it brings the volume back down to where it was on the input. If you don't have that, or whichever VST you're using doesn't have that, the standard way to do it is just to use the output level, just bring it down. Just like we did with the compressor. So now with the EQ on and off, while two fairly different sounds, they both are on the same volume. And keeping this consistent throughout your tracks and chains means it's a lot easier to have the headroom free on the master at the end, and you have no clipping and unwanted distortion. So let's check out the master channel. I'm going to switch over to the session view. Okay, so Ableton's saying I'm hitting about -10 on the master. That's fine for now. The track is still in progress, so it might increase a little bit as I add more aspects of the track. But the end goal with gain staging is to make sure that you're not getting any clipping and that your master channel has got plenty of headroom for mastering. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you liked the video, remember to like and share. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and ring the bell to keep up to date with future videos. See you next time.